Hi everyone, so with this video here we're just looking at a lot of stretching and mobility movements. So this video is aimed to help improve the flexibility of the joints and the muscles through range of motion movements and some hold stretches as well. So it should be a nice and light session here. Not too long, we'll try to hit a little bit of everything in the body. And we'll get ourselves started now in our all four position to start this sequence off here. So we're going to start off opening up the back here nice and gently through the cat-camel phase. With these ones we go with the breath here if it's comfortable, if not there's no panic. So we take a breath in here, and as you breathe out I want you to push your shoulder blades up towards the sky, and as you do so we're trying to tuck the head and hips under. The head and hips are being tucked under just to allow us to get into that upper back arc to get that stretch around that shoulder blade area, so around that what they call the thoracic spine area. So we're going to hold here for a few breaths if that's okay, and then from here down we're going to go to the lower back stretch. So we're trying to bring the head and chest up towards the sky, and at the same time we're trying to push that lower back down towards the mat, and you're looking just to gently push just above that hip area down towards the mat, and as you bring the head and chest up to help allow us to create that lower back arc. We're just looking again for a little bit of pressure around that lower back area, holding here for a few breaths in and out. Again, these ones are not going to go for any pain or discomfort, so if it feels a little bit too intense, we just can relax out of it a little bit. And then when we're ready, we'll go back into that upper back stretch again, head and hip again we'll tuck under, shoulder blades towards the sky. And again, trying to find that stretch in around that shoulder blade, back of the shoulder area as we just gently rise that area towards the sky. And again, we're not looking to push too intensely here. We're trying to keep the arms nice in that lengthened position through these stretches as well. So we're not trying to bend the arms or anything, we're just keeping them locked in place as we work from one stretch to the other. We're ready here now, we'll go back into that lower back stretch, bringing the head and chest up, lower back gently push down towards the mat. And again, just trying to find that stretch above the hip area and hold in here for a few moments. Head and chest rises, so again, just to help allow us to get into that stretch. And then from there, we're going to bring the back into the middle position again. So we're going to relax out of that lower back stretch, and then we'll set our hips back towards our ankles here a little bit. Come in and do what we call the child's pose here. So we're just trying to sit the hips back, trying to help release the hip, release the lower back, and we're trying to keep the arm in that lengthened position just to allow the shoulder muscles to release for a few moments here. So just in here, you're trying to sit back into a comfortable position for you as we just try and release a little bit of tightness away from that lower back area and the back of the hip area. If it feels comfortable, as we hold this sitting position now, we're going to walk the hands across your right hand side a little bit. And as the two hands come across, you're looking for a stretch under the left arm to release that side of the left muscle at the side of the back on that left side. So as we walk across, you're going to feel that little pull under that left arm, and we're going to hold that stretch. If it feels too intense, we just walk that left hand back closer to the midpoint of the mat, as we're just trying to hold a light stretch position again for a few moments to release that side of the back. And then we're going to bring our hands into our center. We're walking across into the left hand side, find that stretch around that on that right arm area, and you're trying to hold at the stretch point here, trying to release that side of the back for a few moments. So again, if it feels too intense, you can walk the hands back into that center position a little bit just to take the pressure off, as we're just looking for a light stretch here on these, no pain or discomfort. And we'll walk ourselves back in gently into that middle position again, and we'll return ourselves to our hands knees position here. So staying a little bit around that upper back shoulder area now, we're going to try our thread the needle sequence, and we'll start off with the left side if that's okay. So as I take a breath in this time, I'm going to bring my left arm underneath the body. I'm just trying to lengthen that arm under as far as I can comfortably, and as I breathe out, I'm going to try and release that arm up towards the sky. And as I rise up towards the sky, we'll just try and lengthen the front shoulder chest area out. As I breathe in, I come under. On that lower phase, we're trying to lengthen that arm under, trying to drop that shoulder down with it, if we can, to get into that back stretch at that behind the shoulder. And then as we come back up, we'll get that stretch in that front shoulder through the chest. So it's a nice slow motion as you come in and as you come away. But again, so wherever you feel comfortable here, we don't have to rise all the way up. If that's the far you can go, that's the far you can go. You just want to find your own stretch point in and away. Under, Lengthen that arm, trying to drop that shoulder under as well if you can. Lengthen away. And as we bring the hand back down, we'll turn the left hand back on the mat in that re-supported position. We'll try the right side here now, flow through that stretch. So again, we'll start that right side off with a breath in, arm coming under in that lengthened position. And as you exhale, we're trying to reach away towards the sky at the top. Under as you take that breath in. And as we exhale, we're lengthening away to the stretch at the top. You're just going to flow as far as you feel comfortable here through the stretch area. Just trying to rise to that stretch point and back out down to release. Not trying to force anything either on this side. We're just trying to release the side of the shoulder and the back. As the right hand comes back down, we'll just come back on the mat with that hand. We'll just sit our hips back into our child's pose again for a few moments, stretching the hands out a little bit further into the mat, away from the body if you can, just to help release and lengthen out the shoulders for a few moments. Just again at a comfortable position for you. And then from there, we'll bring ourselves up and we're going to bring ourselves face down on the mat here now as you try and release a little bit of the core muscles into that cobra stretch. So as you lie on the mat, we're going to bring the hands either side of the body at a comfortable position, so maybe a little bit high or a little bit back. Take out a breath in again to start this one off. As you breathe out, we're going to lift the head up off the mat, trying to rise through the chest if we can, and trying to lengthen out our core muscles. And again, as you rise, just rise up as far as you can comfortably, and then float the body back down as we take a breath in. In between each ones, we can take a couple of moments just to let the back recover and reset if you need before we rise in again. And as you rise, you just go up as far as you feel comfortable here. So as I rise my head and chest up off the mat, I put a little bit of pressure on my lower back as I compress it. So we just go as far that feels comfortable for you, holding at the top for a moment or two, all the way back down to release. We start this movement up and lifting the head and chest up off the mat to help lengthen out those muscles in the front. Just going up as far as you feel comfortable. Holding at the top for a moment if we can, and then releasing the body. And again, as we come back down, we can pause and recover that spine for a few moments before we rise again. So we'll do one more here on this stretch if that's okay. Releasing ourselves up, pausing at the top here now for a few extra moments if we can. So just trying to hold that position in and out with the breath as you hold that stretch. And as we come back down, slowly floating the body back down, we'll just bring ourselves up into child's pose one last time just to help recover the lower back. So we're up onto our knees, we're just sitting back into the hips a little bit for a few moments just to allow the lower back to release. Arms and wrist bones to recover. And from there, we're going to come back up and out of that one nice and gently. So we change ourselves around now into our lying down position with the back on the mat. So we return ourselves around our supine position for a few moments if that's okay. We're just trying to lengthen our bodies fully on the mat here. Do a bit now on the posterior chain and hips. So we're going to start off just with the right leg here. We start off just bringing the right leg up towards the sky. I'm just going to hold the stretch at the top for a few moments just to lengthen out the leg. So as I bring my leg up to hip height, or from the hip joint, I'm just going to work to the stretch point, the back knee, back thigh area, and hold that stretch. You can hold the leg with the hands if that's comfortable. Doesn't have to be though if it feels a little bit too much to hold. And if the stretch feels a little bit too much, we can slightly bend the knee. So we're just looking for a light stretch to the back knee, back of the thigh area. With these ones, hold in that position for a few moments. And then from there, I just want us to relax that foot down fully. And then from here, now we're just going to work through that hamstring lengthen phase of the leg. Taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, trying to lengthen up to the stretch point again. And as you breathe in, we're going to float the leg back down. So the leg rises. We're lengthening out those hamstring muscles at the back of the leg. As the foot floats back down, release and recover. With these ones again, we're just going to rise up to your own stretch point at the top before you release and recover, coming back down. Rise into that stretch. Release and recover, coming back down. Do one more here on this side. And then as you come back down, we let that leg fully lengthen out on the mat here. Just let that side release and recover for a few moments. And we're going to go to our Left leg here now through those hamstrings. So again, that left leg is going to rise up towards the sky in that lengthened position for the first phase. Again, just look for that stretch point. Holding again that stretch with the hands if it feels comfortable, or we can just do a free standing if that's enough. And if the stretch feels a little bit too much, we can bend the knee a little bit, take the pressure off. We're just trying to hold this one for a few moments just to get a little bit into those hamstrings, but at the stretch point, no pain. And then from here, we're going to bend that foot down towards the ground and taking a breath out at the bottom through the exhale, trying to lengthen that leg up towards the sky, releasing the hamstrings again at the top. Breath in as you come back down, releasing yourself out of that stretch position. So as you rise, we're going up again to the stretch point. And as you come back down, we release and recover. Rise to that stretch, release and recover. We'll do again one more on this side. And then as we come back down, letting that leg fully relax out on the mat, letting that side release and recover. So we move ourselves back to your right side here now. We're going to bring the right leg up again around the 90 degrees position. Again, holding the leg for support if it feels comfortable. I'm going to isolate a little bit in the ankle joint here now. So with that foot, we're going to try and draw little circles with the foot, trying to work through that ankle mobility position. So as you draw the circles with the foot, we're moving through that ankle joint, just trying to help open it out a little bit. Just little controlled circles with that foot. And if the circles feel a little bit too much, we can just do little side to side movements and then a couple up and down movements here. So we're trying to isolate that ankle joint by moving the foot. We're trying to avoid moving the entire leg. We're trying to try as best we can move your foot with whatever range of motion you find comfortable. We try and just build into that ankle joint. A few more movements here with the circles or up and down side to side movements if that's more comfortable. And then as you pause your foot movement here now, I want you to bring the right foot on the mat, on the ground. Work a little bit inside the hips here now, so that right knee just drop down to the right side, open right into the stretch of the inner hip muscles for a few moments. That right hand can be under the right leg for support, so if the stretch feels a little bit too much, we want to go to a certain position and it's a little bit too much to hold, we can have the right hand under just to support it, or you can have your right fist on the mat and elevate the leg up a little bit if that's comfortable for you. So you're just trying to work to your stretch point, no discomfort, just a stretch. Bring that knee back into the center, we let the leg fully relax again out on the mat here. Let that side to release and recover. Move it over to the left side now. So the left leg's going to come about 90 degrees. Again, I'm going to hold the leg in that supported position if that's comfortable, as we work through our ankle joint here now. So again, we're trying to let the foot movement do through the circles. If that feels okay on that side, but if it feels a bit awkward, we go up and down or side to side movements. Again, we're trying to isolate the movement from the foot to get into that left ankle joint, just trying to help through that range of motion. But again, we're just going through movement that is comfortable for you. So we're just trying to go through up and down or side to side movements that's comfortable, or the circle movements if that is comfortable. Just working whatever you feel you can do. Then we're going to pause the movements of the foot on this side here now and bring that left foot on the mat again. And then once we're there, we're going to drop that left knee down to the left side. Again, so open out the inner hip area on that side as you relax to the stretch. Again, trying to relax down here for a few moments at the stretch point. So if it feels a bit too much, we can have the left hand on the leg just for support. We can have a fist on the mat and just rest your leg on the fist if that feels enough for you. So just relax to your own stretch point here for that left side of the hip for a few moments. And then from there, we're going to bring the knee back into the center now. We're going to relax that leg fully back on the mat here. Letting that side to release and recover for a few moments. So next one, here's where we're working more around our hip area. So we're bringing our feet on the mat here for the next one. Bringing the feet in close to the glutes, roughly have a 90 degrees bend on the legs or thereabouts, whatever is comfortable. Knees going to be together here for this one. We're trying to just open that lower back of the hip area. Hands can be out wide to help support for this one if you want, or just by the side. What we're looking to do here is we're going to gently, slowly drop the knees down to the right side here and just letting them float down as far as they can. As you do so, you're trying to keep your shoulders on the mat, and this allows you to feel the stretch in the opposite side of the hip. So as knees come down to the right side, you'll feel the left side of the hip lifting off the mat. Just going back down as far as they can, then slowly bring them back up to the standing position, and then they're going to drop down to the opposite side. The knees then drop down gently to the left side, still keeping the shoulders on the mat, just to the stretch point of the right side of the back, and then back in. We're just going to go back then to the right side, nice and gently floating down. Shoulders are still staying, or shoulder blade area is still staying on the mat. Back into the center as we drop down then to the left side. So these ones here are just nice and light movements side to side, just trying to allow ourselves to release our lower back of the hip area. As the knees float down, you're just going to go as far as you feel comfortable. You're always in control of the movement as we go side to side with these. Nice and gently from one side, nice and gently from the other. As we come back into the center here, I'm going to pause back at the start. Feet are going to come about hip width apart here now. So you still work a bit around that lower back and good area. So we take the right foot across the left knee here for the next one. And once we're there, try and stretch out the right side of the glutes. So we're going to try and bring our left leg in towards the body a little bit. Do you feel the stretch on the right side? And it's going to pause at a stretch that's comfortable for you. So if it's okay, you can lift that left foot off the mat. You can hold the left leg for support if that's comfortable, but if the left leg feels okay on the mat and that feels not for you, the stretch position on the right side, we hold there. We're just trying to come into a stretch position that's comfortable for you, that you feel on that opposite side of the hip. If it feels a little bit too much, you just relax that left leg out the way a little bit, relaxing out of that stretch. So it's going to hold the stretch here now for a few more moments, just to get into that glute on the right side, releasing a little bit lower back muscles as well on that right side. And then from there, we'll bring our 2 feet gently back on the mat again, and letting the right side release. And we're going to go to the other side here now if you feel ready. So when you're ready, we'll take the left foot across the right knee area. Just a comfortable position, you can hold it. And then if that feels enough, you can hold there. If you can, we'll try and bring the right leg off the mat and in towards the body a little bit more to get the stretch deeper on the left side. And we can hold the right leg again if that feels comfortable. But if that right foot is on the mat and that feels enough for you, we hold here. Again, we're just looking for a light stretch in that left side of the hip area. We're not looking for any intensive pain or too much pressure. So if it feels a little bit too much, we just relax that right foot further out on the mat or away if that's more comfortable. And again, we're just going to hold here for a few moments at a comfortable stretch. Good, relaxing down out of that one nice and gently. 2 feet returning to the mat. We're just going to release our inner hips again here now. So this one is the soles of the feet are going to come together. And once we're there, 2 knees are going to drop down towards the mat on either side. As they come down towards the mat, we'll open out the hip area inside on both sides. And we're going to hold that stretch. If the body weight feels a little bit too much, we can have the hands on the outside of the legs just to help support and take some pressure off. As we're just trying to hold here for a few moments at the stretch point. No pain. So you just bring the knees closer together if the stretch feels a little bit too much as they float down towards the mat. Trying to release those hip muscles inside for a few moments here. Good. From there, we're going to bring our knees gently back together again. Let the legs just stretch out for a few moments, releasing that side of the hip area. I'm going to change our position here now on the mat here, okay? So we're going to turn to our sideline position for the next little bit. So we're going to turn to the side. So I'm going to start off turning to my right side with my left hand on top of my right. Once I'm here, I'm going to stretch out my 2 hands nice and lengthened just below my shoulder line and on the floor on the mat. And I'm going to try and release a little bit of the top shoulder for the first one here. Or these can be slightly bent just to help the balance of this one if you want. But I want you to do here now is take a breath in, and as you exhale, release your top hand away. We're trying to bring this back as far as we can to feel that stretch around the chest area, and then gently bring it back in. So we're not trying to force that arm down behind too far. We're just letting it float out as far as your own range of motion allows, and then gently bring it back in. We just float away to the stretch point, and then back in. Head and arm can work together here, so you can follow your head and arm, but if you find tension on the neck, you just keep the head nice and still on the center and just work the arm away to the stretch and back in. We'll do one more on the side. Good. As they come back in, you just pause in there. We're going to lengthen our two legs out into a straighter position here now. So we're going to try and stretch the front leg area next. So top leg now is going to lift off. We're going to bring the knee up towards the body. And if we can, we're going to try and grab the shin area. If this feels a little bit awkward though, we can just grab the back of the foot or the sock if that's more comfortable. And we're trying to bring the knee then back as far as we can with the foot bent back. This will help get it into the stretch then on that front thigh area. And then once we have it, if we can, we just gently push your hips forward just to allow yourselves to release into the front hip area as well. But we don't have to push forward if it feels a little bit too tight. And again, we're trying to hold this at a comfortable position. So if it feels a little bit too tight on the stretch, we just bring the knee up a little bit towards the body. We're trying to hold here for a few moments just to release the quad muscles on that side and a little bit of the front of the hip muscles as well. Good. We're going to release the leg back out here nice and gently on the other leg. And we're going to take our time now and switch over to our other side. So we're going to come around gently to your other side on the mat here so we can work the other leg. And then once we're there on the new side, our two arms are going to stretch out on top and then below that shoulder line again. And we'll try and release the top arm here through the breath. So again, when we're ready, we'll try to inhale, exhale away into that stretch point. And again, try to find that stretch around the front shoulder of the new arm, around that upper back area, and then float the hand back down. Again, we're not trying to force this side here. As you bring your arm back behind, you're trying to keep your knees on the mat here. So sometimes if we try and force a stretch, your body will have to compensate by lifting the top leg away and rocking the hips back. We're trying to keep the hips nice and stacked and square as we work the arm out in a way. This allows us to get into that stretch quicker. And again, just go on to your stretch point. That's all we're looking for here. Do one more away. And then as we come back in, so I pause there. When I stretch the two legs out again here. And again, on this side here now, we're working the front thigh muscles off the top leg. So our top leg is going to again come up towards the body. Bend that knee, we're grabbing that shin area if we can, but if that's a little bit tight, we just grab the back of the sock here or shoe. I'm going to bring the knee back then as far as we can to feel the stretch, the front thigh area and the quads. And again, we're going to hold here for a few moments. We can deepen the stretch by pushing the hips forward if you want to get into that hip flexor area. And if the stretch feels a little bit too much, we just going to relax the knee up a little bit. Just again, holding here for a few moments at your stretch point. Good, releasing that leg back out, back on the mat here. And we just bring our back on the mat again. So we can turn ourselves around gently into our supine position. One more time. And as we lie on the mat, our feet are coming on the mat as well. So release a little bit of the lower back here, a little bit more for this next one. So we bring our knees up off the mat and we crisscross the legs. The lower point of that is okay. Holding the knees down, we're going to do a little side-to-side rocking motions now with the knees. So again, try to rock gently the hips side to side, still trying to keep the shoulder area on the mat. We're just going nice and gently side to side movements. We can hold the knees in a little bit deeper towards the body, so you want a little bit more into that lower back stretch, or relax the knees out a little bit more if that's more comfortable for you. As you try and do little side to side rocking motions just to help release that lower back area and a little bit of the upper hip area. Side to side, always in control of the movement. And as we pause from there, we relax the legs back out on the mat here, relaxing the legs fully, relaxing the body on the mat here. Just taking a few moments here now, we're going to try and close your eyes and we're going to focus on your breathing. We're taking nice deep breaths in and out. Every time you breathe out here, I just want you to try and relax and sink deeper into the mat. Every exhale, we're trying to let the body release and recover. So just focus on that nice deep breath in, and that nice exhale out. Every time we breathe out, letting the body sink deeper and deeper into your mat. Trying to release and recover our body, bringing that heart rate back down to a resting state for our last few moments of our stretch session. We just breathe in, we breathe out. Every exhale, try to release and relax your body deeper into the mats. The arms sink into the mat, the legs, the head, the body sink into the mats. Last 3, 2, and 1. We just open our eyes, just taking a moment here to relax ourselves, and that is our session complete.